Hey guys, welcome back to my page, my channel, my station, whatever you want to call it, my frequency, my vibration. Thanks for tuning in. Today might be one of the rawest videos that I've posted since being on YouTube. You might hear some background noise, and I'm gonna let it roll. Preferably you won't be too distracted by the household, because if I wait any longer for my household to be at a space or a place where I can actually have the freedom to do the things that I want to do, I might be waiting for eternity. And so because I know that this is something that is already deep within me, as far as this desire to just be on the platform and be a space for the collective to tune into and help to realign, refocus, to offload sometimes, to connect with like-minded, like-spirited individuals, because I know that this is a part of my drive or my purpose, some might call it that. I'm going to just press through the obstacles, the challenges. And what I'm learning with that, just by me saying obstacles and challenges, I need to rephrase that or reframe it, looking from a different lens to see it as an opportunity for me to still move through maybe choppy waters and still be okay. Because life is not always going to be like a stream flowing into the ocean, okay? Life usually has a lot of twists and turns, a lot of uncertainties. Random shit be happening at any given time of the day, okay? And I am learning my best to just go with the flow, stop fighting the resistance, seeing things as not resistance, but as a way to help to bring me closer to my truest space, or my north node, right? Where I am as pure as I can be within myself. It doesn't mean that I don't cuss. It doesn't mean that I don't go off. It doesn't mean that I don't have impatience at times. It doesn't mean that I don't get aggravated. It doesn't mean that I'm so calm and peaceful 24/7. Quite frankly, that's not reality, right? That's not the truth. Now, my core, my base, yes, that is the tone that or the root. That's what I'm rooted in. Absolutely. That's what I root myself in. Serenity, calm, peace, balance, harmony, and all the like, right? That's what I root myself in. But life has a way of coming through to kind of shift you here to the left, to the right, just a little bit to help balance out the energy or in the atmosphere where there's someone else that might be having a hard time. Iron sharpens iron. So sometimes I have to soften a little bit more than I would like to. It's kind of uncomfortable at times, but I do. So today we're going to look at the changes that are happening to the collective, because I'm sure I'm not the only one going through this shit, going through this change, these stages of change, these periods of transformation. Some call it the season of the shadow, or the shadow side. I can't even label it as such, because all sides of me is true, right? So everything about me is true. You may see one side more than not, because I am on a platform, but my goal is to be as true as I can be, within reason, right? Of course, we don't want to just be cussing on the social media, and well, I suppose if it calls for that, the point is to be in integrity as much as possible. Okay, with that being on a platform, it does require a sense of restraint, right? I haven't quite mastered that yet. I don't know if that needs to be mastered or not. One thing I'm understanding is that I do have a lot of fire, a lot of passion within me that I have suppressed over the years, whether it be through contractual obligations that I was aligned with, whether it be through the expectations of families, friends, or just myself, the past me that I identified with, whatever the case may be. There have been times where I was not my truest, and I'm 51 now. Just had a birthday in June, and so my way of seeing who I am now definitely is, some would say radical, some would say, well, you are completely different than when I knew you in high school. And that may be the case. What I see though is that I am finally embracing more of myself. And if you can resonate with that, then this is the platform, the space, the channel for you. All right, guidance by Dove Moon, right? It's probably the channel that I'm gonna post it to, because I have two. And those are still being, what is it? Redefined, I suppose. Who knows what will come of them. I'm just trying my best to just yield, to my highest desire, which is to connect with individuals who share a common theme as far as wanting to expand, wanting to elevate, wanting to shift the narrative from, the victim mentality to something more nurturing, right? Where you see the glass as full, not even half full, full. Okay, so, right, there's some new faces I've been connecting with online, which is refreshing to say the least. A lot of masculine energy coming on my feed of late, and I attribute that to just me setting the intention for this change, for this shift. And so I appreciate them showing up in the way that they're showing up, the different forms that they're showing up in my life, to help me expand, to challenge my views, to challenge my thinking and my beliefs, and to help me to realign the best way I need to, or that I know how to, in this space that I'm moving through. And I say moving through, or you might hear me say transit, because that's exactly what we're doing. Nothing ever stays the same. There's always movement, there's growth, unless, of course, you resist the natural universal flow, right? Or ebb and flow, as they call it. So I am learning how to just allow myself to shift into the new spaces and places, and welcoming in these fresh, refreshing energies. So I send you love wherever you're at in this beautiful existence. Okay, Divine Masculine. Alrighty then. So the message for today, that was quite an intro, but it needed to be said just to give you an idea of who you're talking to, since there's no face on the screen at this time. So the message definitely is about shifting. It's about change. It's about, okay, the endurance that we have had to endure, which is the self-sacrificing mentality, which is the negative thinking, which is the humdrum syndrome, where everything is woe is me, everything is just against me. Those narratives is specifically what we are shifting out of collective, where we are now understanding that we empower ourselves more when we can see ourselves as the author of our story, and the director, and for sure the divine creator, being that we are connected to source. Okay, not saying that we are the all that there is, the great I am. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we come and extend from divine source. And so by nature, we are a reflection of the very principle of divinity. And so yes, we can orchestrate things in a way that is more advantageous for our experience. And like I mentioned, life does happen. So because this is a collective, when we have multiple parties, multiple factors at play, other situations may have a greater influence on our experience than others. And it's how do we see those challenges or changes or opportunities. It's like, how do we see them? So it's the perspective for sure, the narrative that we write within our mind, and what we communicate into the ethers that has a lasting effect. And even with that, yes, you do have the opportunity to shift that reality once it has been shaped. It just might be a little harder to do that, right? Or you just might have to learn how to work with those energies with more patience. Patience. So as you can see, or maybe not, I have my incense burning, which I love the scent of frankincense and myrrh. Sandalwood is the next, and I have other scents that I enjoy. Burning the Palo Santo stick, I do that as well, in addition to the sage. So I'm talking about the air. I'm talking about the movement and the flow of air. I'm talking about a sense of travel. I'm talking about a sense of change, you know, changing with the wind. I'm talking about elevation, because air, it does rise. Okay, I'm talking about expansion as well. Okay, I'm also talking about, with the air element, I'm talking about communication. I'm talking about being very clear on what we communicate, how we communicate, not necessarily as though we are professors having a lecture, but being very clear on what is it that we believe, what is our opinion on a matter, if there is one, what do we truly think about a situation. Oftentimes we may have a way of filtering information that can be distorted, and that does shape our reality. I think the last video that I recorded, I don't even know if I posted it, because there has been quite a bit of energies coming through to interrupt flow for whatever reason, and I'm not upset with it. I'm leaning into it. Okay, I am observing it more and leaning into it, which is one thing that I have gleaned from listening to one of these more newer energies that have entered into my space. And so thank you for that perspective. Yes, you know who you are. Okay, so let's see where we're gonna go. 12 minutes in. The number 12 could be significant. The number 12 goes to 3. So 3 of Cups energy came out recently, right? It's a sense of coming together. It's almost like a celebration, or yes, a reconciliation of some sort. Reconnecting. Okay, reconnecting. Thank you. So when I say reconciliation, think about being lost from the truth of who you are, right? The integrity of everything that you consist of. That, let's say you're living a dream and then you have been casted in a show, in a play, and the character that you're playing today is not even your truest self, but you have come to this place, the place where you believe this script, the narrative, the role that you've cast into has become the more dominant player in your life, in your energy, and in all your relationships. Imagine now that this dream begins to fade. Imagine that this curtain begins to roll back. Imagine now that you are seeing aspects of yourself that you had not even realized existed, and coming to terms with the choices that you've made as the previous character, right? Surely there's going to be some areas of regret, maybe grief, because, you know, like, whoa, how come I didn't notice this before? How come I didn't see this? You know, and we can definitely look at it from that vantage point, or we can show ourselves some compassion and nurture the sides of ourselves that were hidden from the truth, that were darkened because of whatever lie or whatever mask we've been wearing or have believed to be our own truth. Okay, and bring a sense of balance back into the situation. All right, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about reconnecting back unto self. We're talking about knowing what is self. We're talking about who am I, right? And where do I fit in the grand scheme of things? Back in 2020, when I was going through a difficult time, I have to be honest, and here goes the raw truth. I have to be honest because this was a time of separation, right? Coming out of a divorce or getting ready to be divorced. I don't even think I was divorced yet, whichever the case may be. I was in the process of all of that, right? Legalities. And I don't believe I fully processed everything that was transpiring at the time. But one thing that I did do was I was starting to peel back a lot of the layers that I had believed to be my story, and coming to terms with a lot of the mistakes, mishaps, missteps, the different paths that I chose that led me to the current state that I was at the time, and really like mourning some of my, well, how would you say, what would I say? Like the experiences as a whole, and oh right, thank you, just lost that train of thought. So basically what I was seeing myself from a different lens is what was happening. I began to see myself outside of myself, if that makes sense, and was realizing a lot of the things that I did not recognize in terms of choices and consequences, and just how, you know, things tend to play out over time. And that's one of those times in my self-reflection, or because I do a lot of journaling and you know, doing the sitting still. A lot of times my family would ask me what I'm doing, and I would just say I'm sitting still, right? This is something that I just naturally do. I've been doing that since I became a mother, I suppose. And so that's early 20s, okay? Learning how to find the space to sit still. And so this practice is something that I do usually, but it has matured, it has elevated, it has expanded over time, right? To where now it's much more mindful breath, mindfulness when I do it, more intentionality when I do this sitting still. Okay, so in one of these times, right, I was looking for my truth, my place. I didn't feel like I had a place since, you know, I told you I'm coming out of this space of separation or ending this contract, and didn't really know the identity and what I would shape or morph into since that was collapsing. And so in sitting still, or through my reflection and prayer and connecting to the divine, I literally received this sense of reassurance that there is a place for me. This is before I even, you know, started the YouTube and doing all of this stuff, and calling in my tribe or my collective, those that resonates with the same tone. This right here where I'm at today, this was 6 to 7 years, if not longer, in the making. And not that I have arrived to anything where I can boast about, because surely I'm still living a very humble life, okay? Bills got to be paid. Sometimes they're delayed, but nonetheless, everything that I need is taken care of every single time. And so learning how to be humble in everything, learning not to rush the process, learning how to just wait for things to unfold in divine timing, because I found that when you rush the gun, when you connect with things too fast, when you chase the bullet. Why am I hearing chase the bullet? There's a song that talks about it has that in there for some reason. I can't remember the full song, but I like the song though. It was in a movie I just saw with my son recently. I can't remember the name of that movie, so yeah. no, the memory. Let's get back to the message. So the point is, I found my place, and my place is ever expanding. And so thank you so much for allowing me into your space and sharing this space with you. I truly appreciate that. Thank you, and I appreciate you as well, for just being open and receptive to me. It means a great deal, more than you even know. All right, so with the message at hand, the change that has taken place in the collective, right? How we're seeing things and rolling back the curtains. And so the mind's eye, as some would say, the third eye, the inner sight, that was blinded for many of us. And so many of us are now being awoken to the truth of just everything that we're experiencing. And my God, this is a lot of shit that we're coming into awareness of. And if you're not careful, if you rush into the unveiling too fast, you might pass out, literally, because of just the heaviness, the weightiness of just the shock of it all. A lot of fundamental truths for me personally has been wiped clean, or is in the process of being adjusted in a way that it'll be more digestible for me personally. So just make sure you're mindful of that. One of the prayers I've prayed in this awakening is, do not give me anything that I am not ready for. That is my prayer. Don't give me anything that I ain't ready for. I'm not trying to seek to get higher than I need to be. I want to be in the pace and the place and space that is best for me. Not another person, but specifically for me. And I know this based on coming to more awareness of who I am and how I am, and just trusting myself. And so because I'm learning about myself more, I know that if something is presented, I know whether I need to go down that rabbit hole, or I know if I need to, okay, let me just put that on pause for now, or let me just swipe, because no, that definitely is not gonna be something that I wanna experience anytime soon, or even come into the awareness of anytime soon. So we definitely have a choice on how far we will go. We can stay at a certain level, or we can move up, or we can digress, right? Or regress. If you hear me say words that don't make sense, just read and feel the meaning into the word, okay? I'm not a linguist, so I tend to sometimes jumble my words, okay? And that's all good. It's just who I am also. All right, now 22 minutes on the time. I'm looking at this hermit energy, and what I'm really doing right now is I'm feeling the energy. So I have cards laid out on the table clearly, right? But I'm feeling where to go, okay? And this is important for me. It has to make sense to me emotionally now. Whereas before, yes, I was very logical, very heady, and I tried to break down things just from a mindset, like the mental, which, yes, that is helpful in processing information. But I am understanding, like I just mentioned, in 2020, when I was going through that separation, or that ending of that contract, that I didn't fully process. That's when things were really starting to come to the surface for me to really process and feel. And so I'm glad that that happened, because it has brought me to where I am at now, 6+ years later. And so that's been a major shift, a major change in my identity. And so someone could resonate with that as well. So the head is important, the mental is important, but sometimes we get stuck and get caught up on the in the fog of things, because sometimes everything doesn't click. Sometimes everything doesn't click. It doesn't make sense, especially if we don't have the heart infused into the situation. And that was me. Actually, I'm finding out that I was quite avoidant, and I didn't even know this about myself. So that was interesting. Avoidant. I knew I didn't like conflict, but I didn't know that I was avoiding situations. Like, okay, in order not to have the conflict, there was things that I naturally did. This was just my coping mechanism so that I wouldn't have an argument. And if there was an argument, I may have taken a more passive approach, just because one, I wasn't as emotionally invested into the situation. I just thought it wasn't a big deal, but it's because I wasn't emotionally invested in something, and that was my protective piece as well. So a lot of shifts have been happening, a lot of truth has been coming to the surface, and I'm just accepting all of me in the process, okay? And no one has to understand your path, no one has to understand you. So try not to make yourself be this advocate for yourself, where you're trying to, sell your story and let people, or make people buy into no, nobody has to buy nothing. It's you come as you are, they take it or leave it, and you go about your business, and it's that simple. All right, it's really that simple. You enter this space by yourself, and you're going to leave this space by yourself, okay? Believe it or not. All right, and so I'm feeling into this spread right here, because I tried recording this earlier and it was interrupted a couple of times. My storage was full, and so we're starting all over again, but from a different view. All right, so I'm starting with this altar of air. Number 32 could be significant. So something maybe happened around age 32 for someone. Star energy, that's Aquarius, right? So someone could have strong Aquarius placement. Someone could be very progressive in their views, which could be different from the conventional views or the traditional views of family members. Someone is seen as a risk taker, the fool, who is moving in their own lane at their own pace, and some may find that this pace and lane is a bit risky. Nonetheless, this is the path that someone feels that is the truth, or their true north for them to move in. It could be that there's like, I'm seeing it as, I'm looking at the Hermit, right? The Hermit energy and the lantern, and it's showing me just the field of flowers, right? And the bees that are swarming outside of this box that they're supposed to be contained in, right? To make the honey. And this person is just standing there, like, not even paying attention to the box, but kind of looking outward, looking almost in a gaze towards just something else. I don't know if you ever had that moment where you're looking, but you're not really looking outside. There's something happening. What is that happens? It's not in the deja vu, but it's like there's a pause. And that could definitely be just spirit getting someone's attention and putting like your mind on something, like, hey, you need to pay attention to this, or something comes to your mind that shifts your focus off of what you're doing, or it's like you're thinking about something completely different than what you're doing. So whatever the case may be, this is someone that's seeing that maybe you try to contain something, but the efforts to contain this idea of yourself or this image of yourself is like it's escaping, like everything is coming outside of the friggin' box, right? I'll show you this real quick so you know what I'm talking about, okay? So there's the box right there, right? I don't know what you call it, but the bees are swarming up and they're just all here, right? And this person just has this kind of like a blank stare, and it's like, when you come and you're trying to check on something and it's out of place, like, wait a minute, that's not what's supposed to be happening right now. Why are you, but this person is not like anxious about it. They're observing it and they're making note. Okay, this is what's happening right now. They're not fretting. They're not in a haste to do anything. They're actually at peace. They're actually just like, okay, I guess I need to allow this to do whatever it needs to do, right? So this was a space of just being paused, right? And there's the next card right underneath the Hermit, right? The pause, right? Hermit, and then Hangman, right? where this person's their eyes are closed. Remember I talked about the inner sight? There's that marking, like getting some type of realization or having a realization about something. And this is interesting because there is the hive that the bees are supposed to be inside, but why is it that the bees are covering this person? Again, something that's not in the, like, you're expecting something to be somewhere, but it's not. Okay, it's not supposed to be enclosed. It's not supposed to be enclosed, right? Whatever this is what you're being covered by something. Okay, and I'm gonna show you this again. We have this person in this white suit, right? The bees are coming out. The next card underneath it is now this person being covered up completely by the bees. Okay, and then the next one we have is now this person being freed, literally freed, no garments. Like, it's like being renewed, right? Being rejuvenated. This is the World card, by the way. Okay, this is the Tarot. And it's interesting because we are in the summer solstice today, June 21st at the time of recording this. And so this card deck I haven't used for a while, but it has a lot of nature, a lot of greenery, a lot of flowers and insects and like honey, and the whimsical feel of summer, the youthfulness of summer, the newness of summer, right? The regenerative energy of summer, because, you know, coming from winter, where it's dry and cold and dark, and then the spring is like things are just like ramping up, but summer is like, okay, bam, we are here, right? Let's cut loose, let's enjoy this. And remember, summer is a short season. So this person, don't know what all of that means to you, but anyway, not having on anything now, just being liberated from this persona, this idea that they were once bound by in that box, you know, the box that was supposed to house this identity or this whatever, right? Someone is now coming to a place where they're more acceptant of themselves. They're being more honest. King of Swords energy is underneath the World. They are being more forthright. They are owning their truth. They are standing more so in their knowing of who they are. This is someone who has developed strong boundaries and a sense of self, intelligence even. So you have learned a lot. You've gained a lot of wisdom through perhaps this space of hibernation, this internal review that you've been going through, and there's been a lot of change that has occurred as a result. Number 12 I mentioned in the beginning. So as a result of all of this that's been going around within you, like there's a lot of change that's taken place. And notice the square. Okay, notice the square and then the circle, okay? And I said the box, so coming outside of the box. I'll read what this one says. It says, the frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. So the release of the old, we just saw that, right? The old mindset, the old, you know, stagnant energy, the old ideas, the things that were not serving us or letting us like elevate, right? Keeping us bound to something, stuck on this belief about whatever. Freeing oneself, right? This is the Fool energy from a different deck, right? The charismatic energy, right? Being free to go on the journey, which many say it's dangerous or it's reckless, but nonetheless, you're using your intuition, you're trusting that you're supported by divine, and you just taking that step forward. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter if people think I'm a fool. It doesn't matter that my clothes don't match right now. It doesn't matter how my hair look. That all of that is external. This individual here is so focused on that internal truth that they have now, right? There's an awareness, there's an alignment, There's a knowing that this person has cultivated within, they have transformed into with the butterfly. So there is definitely a knowing. There is the star, there's the illumination. This is something that it doesn't matter what the external says to this person, whoever this is, whoever you are, you know, if you're not there yet, you're coming into this space. 32 goes to 5, which is a change that's happening. You know that there's a major change that's happening, and it's going, people might not see the change because, again, with the hermit energy, it's usually done like in isolation. This is something that's internal. This is not you raising a flag and telling everybody what you've been doing, and that's not to say that you can't. I'm just saying this, when you see people on the platforms doing whatever they do, there has been some time behind the scenes that you can't fully convey, right? It's just something that you have absorbed within yourself that has created a sense of renewal and even transformation, right? And it's only through time and through interacting with you that people is going to be able to register and recognize, oh wow, okay, you've done a lot for yourself as far as coming outside of that narrow mind or that limited view of what society perhaps has said needs to be the you that you once used to be. Who knows? Let's keep moving. 32, 35. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune. So whatever seeds you have been planting internally, there's going to be this sense of harvest, right? It's a lot of different things, a combination of things that has entered your life, different paths that you have had to go on, different people maybe that intersected your life that added to this whole. Okay, so just know that it hasn't been, even though you're doing it by yourself, you were supported, and the universe supports us. The universe supports us in a way that's hidden. We don't always, when you pray for help or you pray for assistance or guidance, you don't always recognize the guidance that you get, but just know that you are always guided, okay? You always get the help and the support that you need. So the Wheel of Fortune speaks about things that are going to be more fortunate. It talks about the cycle of life. It talks about signifiers, like specific indicators of or timing of events that this is happening. So it looks like this is set in motion already. Whatever this is that you've started, right? Whatever you've started, this deep dive, this path that you've taken that may be seen as different or unordinary or unorthodox, right? Aquarius energy, progressive energy as well. You are on the path that is already in motion. And as you do that, you're gonna find that things are gonna be more joyous for you. Like the experiences that you have, you're gonna be able to land the target. Like if you were trying to sell something, or if you were trying to come into alignment with someone, you're gonna find that this is gonna be seamless. It's going to happen so much more naturally because you're resonating on a vibrational frequency that is drawing in similar energies. Okay, so you'll be able to discern a lot better and even faster. You'll be able to discern a lot better and even faster whether something is for you or whether it's not for you. Okay, what you do with that information that you gain from the said wisdom you've acquired over this journey is totally up to you. But there are choices and there are consequences, as you will know, right? Coming out of myself, I mentioned the contract that I ended a few years back. Yeah, there's always a choice. Nothing is ever forced, but it can be forced if you choose to force it. Okay. And whenever you force things, learned experience, lived experience, it doesn't always end up as well as it could have. Okay. Oftentimes there is just more difficulties with that type of energy whenever it's forced, because you're going against the natural flow. Okay. Now we have the Queen of Jars with the Father of Water, which these are two separate decks. Okay, one is from my what is it? I'll tell you what that is. Not trying to be on camera today. Secrets of the Ancestors. Okay, so we have that, and then the other one is the bead tarot I already mentioned. So we have the Queen of Jars and the Father of Water, right? So that's the King and Queen of Cups essentially in tarot. These both talk about aligning, like partnerships that are aligned, right? It talks also about harmony. It talks about intuition. It talks about trusting yourself, loving yourself, self-love. It talks about nurturing yourself. It talks, so it's a lot of nurture, caring, companionship in a way, but that starts with how you nurture and care for yourself. Okay, so it looks like someone has come into alignment with themselves. They're nurturing their feminine energy, so that would look like a lot of self-care, you know. Maybe someone likes to go by the water. This both of these energies, their feet are in the water. There's the feminine energy. She's just sitting. There's like a gentle stream. Her feet is dipped in the water. She's very cool, relaxed, you know, not stressing a damn thing. She's off in the cut by a cliff, and it's like I'm okay here all by myself, you know. Yeah, you can sit with me, but whether you're sitting with me or not, I'm still good, right? I'm still good regardless, right? All right. And then we have the King of Father of Water's energy. He's I was gonna say knee deep. Well, yeah, damn near knee deep in the water. So this energy may have a little bit more, let's say, emotional, I want to say bandwidth, but they might hold on to it more, right? So they may have a lot more of emotions that they may be working through or may need to process. But regardless, they put their best foot forward. They know how to balance it, okay? Yeah, there could be something else could be going on here. There's more to be seen. There's more to be explored as far as the emotions. Okay, yeah. This is going deeper. This is going deeper. I'm seeing the horns in the back, and the way the horns are positioned. I'm just thinking, or feeling, which is it? I'm feeling that this person may need to, whatever this is representing, this situation may require you to connect with the emotions more and be more forthright with the horns, right? That's a sense of like Taurus energy, right? Being grounded and being firm. So this is a person who's firm, who's grounded, who knows. Hold on, guys. So what I was saying about this Father of Water, I'll show you the card again. All right. This person or the situation, and I'm reading it as a person, could be Taurus energy, is a bit more stubborn, or the situation could have been more resistant to change for whatever reason. Probably because there was a lot of emotions that were underneath the surface that did not get expressed. It did not get conveyed. This person or situation is coming off as being stubborn, strong-headed even, right? Firm, okay? So someone not willing to maybe let their guards down or allow another person to see just a certain side of them. And also, if this was a feminine, this feminine may have embodied more of the masculine energy in a situation. Let's think about a mother that is typically the provider, right? Or the person that is handling both roles as far as parenting, both the mother and the father. This requires the feminine to be more in the masculine energy, to be more decisive, and to be more guarded. So I'm getting very guarded energy. It does say balance and harmony, so maybe that's what someone was working through or working on, or the situation required these things to take place to bring harmony and balance into the situation. And it definitely could be a feminine energy, because right underneath the father of water is this queen, mother of earth, right? So something definitely has grounded, it has taken root. It's actually producing like the harvest, like you're seeing the rewards of something, you're seeing the fruit. This is someone who has learned a lot through their experiences, someone who has matured. Okay, so the situation has matured someone tremendously. Okay, whoever that is, it doesn't have to be a feminine, it just could be the person that I'm talking to has matured a great deal. There's a sense of stability here now. There's a sense of maturity, and someone who is able to manage their resources more wisely or more efficiently. Okay, I'm looking at the coins. Someone who plans for the future also, right? See the two, let's say if they're angel but children is what I'm reading it as. Planning for the future, someone who may be seen as like a guardian, like maybe you have a guardian around you that's assisting you, okay, with your finances. It looks like this person is able to be trusted. If there's a guardian around you assisting you with your resources, it's like entrusting someone. So think about a bank, or think about a trust. So a trust fund, maybe someone needs to start a trust fund for someone, or something is in guardianship, okay? Or listen, your children have been entrusted to you as parents, as guardians. So we don't own our kids, our children. We are to rear them, you know, instill and in them things that are beneficial, and then allow them to grow and make choices for their own when they become independent, of course, right? So protection is what I'm getting also from this. All right, let's try to finish this message out. Hold on. Whoops, excuse me for shaking that right there. Okay. Not trying to be on camera today. I washed my hair, braided it back, and so this is just a relaxed day for me. So the last card I think I showed you before the storage ran out was the Delphic bee. And I was saying this is like the Hierophant energy. All right, again, number 5 can speak about change in a situation, change in the way of seeing things, change in your perspective, the dynamic, okay, coming outside of the typical way of processing things and trying something new and different, or just traveling into a different space and learning something new. But something is changing. What the heck is going on here? Hold on, guys. I'm feeling this something like by my chest area that I don't believe I slept wrong, but anyway. Olives. Okay, olives could be significant, right? Ace of Jars right next to the Delphic bee. Look at the theme again of summer. Look at all of the and it's just honey, right? Honey in the jar, just honeycomb, the dripping of honey, right? Ace of Jars, that's the Ace of Cups in tarot. It's just the abundance, the apples, the olive vines, or the olives themselves, grapes in the background, the abundance, the fruitfulness of a situation. It ties to the wheel of fortune, where things are turning now in a way that it produces for you. It yields increase for you, right? Mother of Earth. I mean, if this is not talking about abundance, I don't know what is, right? This is someone that is very comfortable in their status, in their position, in their role, in their identity, comfortable with their emotions. Okay, Shay, yeah, so grounding your energy to the point where you are so stable in your emotional body. Also, King of Cups, Father of Water. All right,